interesting facts about famous people.
Great 1950s Western movies. Arguably the decade that was the high point of the Western genre, the 1950s, had no shortage of Westerns. This short list of 10 of the best is ranked by IMDb as of the date this video is posted, not a personal ranking. I do make some videos which are my own rankings. If you want to go look at my channel for those, please do. If you enjoy this video, hit the notification button to get my new videos. If you want to check out my many other videos, head over to my channel. The link is in the description. Let's get into it. Rio Bravo, 1959. Director, Howard Hawks. A small-town sheriff in the American West enlists the help of a disabled man, a drunk, and a young gunfighter in his efforts to hold in jail the brother of the local bad guy. The last movie in which John Wayne wore the hat he wore since Stagecoach, 1939. John Wayne had deliberately moved away from westerns after The Searchers, 1956, but none of his films since then had been particularly successful or well received. This film was a return to the genre for him. Stars John Wayne, Dean Martin, Ricky Nelson, Angie Dickinson. The Big Country, 1958. Director, William Wyler. A New England sea captain in the 1880s arrives at his fiancee's sprawling Texas ranch, where he becomes embroiled in a feud between two families over a valuable patch of land. Then US President Dwight D. Eisenhower gave the movie 4 consecutive showings at the White House and called it simply the best film ever made, my #1 favorite film. According to actor Slim Pickens' daughter, her father doubled Gregory Peck in the scene where Peck's character is bucked off the horse. Pickens owned the horse and didn't want anyone else riding it. Stars Gregory Peck, Gene Simmons, Carol Baker, Charlton Heston. High Noon, 1952. Director, Fred Zinnemann. A town marshal, despite the disagreements of his newlywed bride and the townspeople around him, must face a gang of deadly killers alone at high noon, when the gang leader, an outlaw he sent up years ago, arrives on the noon train. There was some question as to the casting of Gary Cooper, since he was 50, and Grace Kelly, playing his wife, was only 21. Despite this being fairly commonplace for the period in which this film was set, Will Kane was only supposed to be about 30. Gary Cooper took a cut in salary to help get this made, taking $50,000 plus a share in the profits, instead of his customary $250,000. Stars Gary Cooper, Grace Kelly, Thomas Mitchell, Lloyd Bridges. Shane, 1953. Director, George Stevens. A weary gunfighter in 1880s Wyoming begins to envision a quieter life after befriending a homestead family with a young son who idolizes him. But a smouldering range war forces him to act. Jack Palance had problems with his horse during filming. When Shane and Jack first look each other over at the Starrett Ranch, Palance was supposed to dismount for a minute, then remount his horse. He could not remount, so the director had Jack dismount his horse slowly, then ran the film in reverse for the remount. Van Heflin and Alan Ladd became firm friends during the making of the film. In later years, Heflin's wife said one of the very rare times she ever saw her husband cry was when he learned of Ladd's premature death. Stars Alan Ladd, Jean Arthur, Van Heflin, Brandon DeWilde. The Tall T, 1957. Director, Bud Botticher. An independent former ranch foreman is kidnapped along with an heiress, who is being held for ransom by a trio of ruthless outlaws. Although playing the older man, Arthur Honeycutt was actually 12 years younger than Randolph Scott. Columbia Pictures released this film on a double bill with Hellcats of the Navy. 1957, starring Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan. Stars Randolph Scott, Richard Boone, Maureen O'Sullivan, Arthur Honeycutt. Man of the West, 1958. Director Anthony Mann. A reformed outlaw becomes stranded after an aborted train robbery with 2 other passengers and is forced to rejoin his old outlaw band. The last film Gary Cooper made before having plastic surgery in April 1958. Stuart Granger was originally announced for the lead role. Gary Cooper bravely did his own horse riding scenes despite physical pain from a car accident years earlier. Stars Gary Cooper, Julie London, Lee J. Cobb, Arthur O'Connell. The Gunfighter, 1950. Director Henry King. Notorious gunfighter Jimmy Ringo rides into town to find his true love, who doesn't want to see him. He hasn't come looking for trouble, but trouble finds him around every corner. The studio hated Gregory Peck's authentic period mustache. In fact, the head of production at Fox, Spiros P. Skouras, was out of town when production began. By the time he got back, so much of the film had been shot that it was too late to order Peck to shave it off and reshoot. After the film did not do well at the box office, Skouras ran into Peck and he reportedly said, "That moustache cost us millions." Stars Gregory Peck, Helen Westcott, Millard Mitchell, Gene Parker. "3:10 to Yuma, 1957. Director Delmer Daves. Broke small-time rancher Dan Evans is hired by the Stagecoach Line to put big-time captured outlaw leader Ben Wade on the 3:10 train to Yuma, but Wade's gang tries to free him. This film, along with the equally allegorical High Noon, 1952, was a deciding factor in Howard Hawks deciding to make Rio Bravo, 1959, a return to more optimistic, less revisionist westerns. Glenn Ford was originally offered the role of Dan Evans. He refused and suggested himself for the role of Ben Wade. Stars Glenn Ford, Van Heflin, Felicia Farr, Leora Dana.
I can send him back to you, all right?
The Naked Spur, 1953. Director Anthony Mann. A bounty hunter trying to bring a murderer to justice is forced to accept the help of 2 less than trustworthy strangers. When this film was released in Spain, its title was changed to Colorado Jim. For unknown reasons, the name of James Stewart's character also was changed from Howard Kemp to Colorado Jim. Included among the 1001 movies you must see before you die. Edited by Steven Schneider. Stars James Stewart, Janet Leigh, Robert Ryan, Ralph Meeker. Vera Cruz, 1954. Director Robert Aldrich. During the Mexican Rebellion of 1866, an unsavory group of American adventurers are hired by the forces of Emperor Maximilian to escort a countess to Vera Cruz. Clark Gable warned Gary Cooper not to work with Burt Lancaster, saying, "That young guy will blow you off the screen." Ironically, 4 years later, Gable would work with Lancaster in Run Silent, Run Deep, 1958. Gary Cooper was badly hurt when he was struck by fragments from a bridge that was blown up during filming because the special effects team used too much explosive. Stars Gary Cooper, Burt Lancaster, Denise Darcel, Cesar Romero. Just for fun, I'll mention the next 5 ranked westerns from the 50s. Ride Lonesome, 1959. Last Train from Gun Hill, 1959. The Man from Laramie, 1955. Day of the Outlaw, 1959. Westward the Women, 1951. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. Hit the notification button to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel and check out my Facebook page. The links are in the description. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.